Thank you, Arvindji. As you said, that external affairs is a bit of the oddball because this is on citizen-centric delivery and what governments can do. My good fortune is that the tough area in which we've done a lot of work in the last year and a half, another colleague of mine, Amrinder Khatua, has come and addressed it. But that really pertains to the vexed issue of passports and how we should deliver passports more efficiently to our citizens. And the complaints in this area used to be legendary, the kind of harassment that people had to face at the hands of the passport offices. And there was a very strong union issue to be dealt with. And I am happy to say that a couple of years back, our ministry took the very tough decision that something that we were going to outsource lock, stock and barrel to TCS eventually, who won the tender. And if you look at it in perspective, that from independence till 2010, we had a total of 34 passport offices around the country. And by next year, this time, we will have 72. Already in Bangalore, in Ludhiana, in Chandigarh, the new passport service Seva Kendras are running. They are being professionally manned, and I believe they are making a quantum difference to the issue of citizen-centric delivery. But since that's not an area that I personally deal with, I thought I'd just mention that as an aside. My division, the Public Diplomacy Division, has a very interesting mandate. It is to explain India and India's foreign policy to people overseas and within India itself. And so our stakeholders are not just Indian citizens, but it is sort of the global citizen. And while we used to do a number of traditional things in terms of our outreach last year, and it's almost exactly a year since we embarked down this road, we thought that we really need to reach out to younger people who are future leaders. We need to have an active process of engagement with young people. We need to recognize that the manner in which information is disseminated and consumed has changed dramatically in the last few years with the advent of 24/7 news channels, the internet, the social media. And so suddenly it's no longer enough for you to say that I've issued a press release and I've done my job. Because the expectation of the recipient of information is much more. And what it requires is a level of engagement that traditional media simply did not allow. So we kind of went whole hog into the use of social media. And again, I should underline that it was not at the expense of things that we were traditionally doing, but simply an additional one. And I'll just show you 2 or 3 slides to illustrate what we were trying to do. We became the first part of Government of India to start using Twitter, and because we had issues with Twitter in the ministry previous to that, it was kind of difficult. But if you look at the record that we've set, we've got 12,753 followers now, and that includes Indian and foreign citizens. It includes foreign offices of other countries, newspapers of other countries, bloggers, think tanks, and lay individuals who have an interest in foreign affairs. It allows us to put across our information directly, unmediated by the conventional media, to those organizations and individuals who are following us. It enables us to receive very useful feedback on what they think about some of the things we are saying. So that feedback is quite instantaneous, and it enables us to respond wherever we can to some of the queries or comments that come up on substantive issues of foreign policy, or even in terms of the expectations of the citizens. The second thing we did was got onto Facebook. We've gradually acquired about 5,000 friends, but majority of these are from overseas. And because of one little campaign that we started about a month back, we find that a very good number are actually from the Arab world. The demographics is interesting. 64% come from the 18 to 34 age group. In fact, 46% come from the 18 to 24 age group. So if my intention was to use new media to reach out to younger people and get them engaged with us, with India, whether you are sitting in Egypt in Tahrir Square or somewhere else, then what we are establishing is that this medium is really quite extraordinary in helping us to get there in a progressive way. We also started, we run a program from Ministry of External Affairs called the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program. And this has been a program going on since 1964. Each year we bring several thousand officials from abroad at our cost, train them and send them back. But there was no real effort to continue the engagement with them. We thought, let's try and use Facebook for this. And we created an iTech group an iTech page on Facebook. We've got 692 in the last couple of months, 3 months that we started this. And it's growing very steadily. And what it is doing for us is creating a Friends of India community that we can engage with on an ongoing basis, regardless of where they are. And if you go into the page and take a look at some of the comments that are coming, you'll find the kind of spontaneity that is manifest in this. And then we told our embassies around the world to do the same. Now, this is the Facebook page of our embassy in Cairo. And they're using both English language and Arabic language content. And you know, I'm very pleased with the response that we got, because within a couple of months of our sending out our message, 40 of our embassies are already on Facebook. And you can see that this is a process that is rapidly gathering momentum as more and more embassies start. They are a multiplier to the effort that we've started. And soon, I think in the next 6 months to a year, we will see strong communities of people interested in India, who are connected through the social media, and who we are able to engage with, provide information, put up videos, do other things. We also, you know, something that we did traditionally over the years was make a lot of documentary films that help in explaining India. We got onto YouTube, started converting our films into short 5 to 7 minute formats and putting them on YouTube. We've got about 180 of them now, stuff that we've done over the last many years. And last week, Arvind, we crossed the 100,000 viewer mark on YouTube. It's, as you can see, it's 106,886, which again, I think is not bad for a Sarkari entity. And we had the surprise when one of our short films called The Musalman, which is about the world's last handwritten Urdu language newspaper published out of Chennai by Hindu and Muslim calligraphers who write every day. We made a short film. I thought this is a nice subject. It went viral. It got over 55,000 views. So it was again, you know, to my colleagues who were initially naysayers, I said, have we ever done anything that attracted 55,000 people? So, you know, you kind of take encouragement from that. But the real citizen-centric part, and this is where it comes, we learned the efficacy of this medium during the evacuation of our nationals from Libya, where we started communicating very simple things like, what time will the Air India flight land in Tripoli to pick up stranded nationals? What time will it arrive? When will the ship come to Benghazi? When will it dock in Alexandria? What will happen to them after they dock in Alexandria and come back by a Kingfisher flight, etc., etc.? We started putting out very simple information. Soon we were picking up hundreds of followers by the day, because clearly people found this information that we were putting out on Twitter useful. And a remarkable thing was, about 4 or 5 days into the evacuation, I get a tweet from somebody in Chennai saying, oh, you're talking about Tripoli and Benghazi, but what about Misrata? And, you know, I wasn't handling the evacuation myself, so I talked to my colleague who was handling this. I said, Bhai, what is happening in Misrata? We are already talking about Tripoli and Benghazi. And he said, well, you know, the bulk of our community is in Tripoli and Benghazi, but we are aware of Misrata, but the port in Misrata is closed, so abhi kuch nahi kar sakte. It's off the radar for the time being. So this guy initially sent a couple of very angry emails, tweets. And I said, look, is there a problem? If you have, because I can't communicate, this is 140 characters, why don't you send us an email on this address? And he did. And he said, My father is with the Libya Iron and Steel Company in Misrata. He's with M. Dastoor and Company. He's an engineer over there. He is one of 66 other Indian engineers who are stranded in Misrata. And what are you doing about them? So when I responded, he was actually very appreciative that he got a response. I said, look, this is the problem. Our priority is elsewhere. But, we also understand that Misrata port is closed. And very soon he sent me back a message saying, you're right, Misrata port is closed, but I've spoken with my father who says that the steel plant has its own jetty with a 250,000 DWT capacity, and your ferry can actually go straight to the steel plant jetty, and our people will arrange to gather the Indians, and there are 300 other Indians there, and bring them onto the jetty, and they can be evacuated out of there. I thought it was a fascinating example of real-time information flows between you as government and individuals out there that you don't even know of. So I just want to show you a couple of examples. So this was the thing going on. And as you know, our Foreign Secretary was also on Twitter at that time. And so this is 28th February. And you can see some of the messages that were going back and forth. This is the guy, Seats 80, at Seats 80, who is the chap in Chennai. And this was his tweet, which says that the 250,000, you can see it over there, sir. And then we confirmed that vessel Red Star 1 is, we hired this vessel out of Sicily and sent it to Misrata to evacuate the people. And then there was somebody else who was saying this kind of thing, that anything happening in Berega. And again, I've got just a few of these slides. And, I've been in government for 28 years. All we get is brickbats. I've never heard this kind of feedback come to us from ordinary people that we don't know about, we're not aware of them, and this was all happening on Twitter. And I mention this only because it shows the potential of social media in government as a tool of engagement with people. If you can communicate effectively, get the information across to them, respond to feedback, then there is actually what we discovered purely by coincidence, that there is a reward to be reaped out of it, which is quite unexpected, because this is the last thing that we would have thought would come our way. Again, just a few others. Thank you very much.